My mother told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And today is a very special episode for me, Natalia, personally, because we are talking about my favorite person in Korean entertainment. That's right, we're talking about Lee Joon!
They do!
You know what? Lee Joon has a special place in my heart and a special place in the Korean entertainment industry because you know how you have all of these like idols turned actors? Well, have you ever heard of an actor turned idol and then turned back to actor?
Yes,
because that's what Lee Joon got up to.
He just was
That's
like,
right. He did a whole switcheroo. So today, we're going to talk about Lee Joon, my sweet boy, my sweet man.
And he's up to a lot these days.
He is. He's a very busy man. He's a very busy man. Has been busy since basically 2009. He has not stopped, and we're gonna talk about it.
Except enlistment.
Well, he was still busy. Just
He was
not.
busy.
That's true. That's true.
You know, he was still doing
Busy,
stuff.
just
you know?
busy doing other stuff. Yeah.
And so hopefully, like, if you're coming in not knowing much about him, maybe you've only seen him in Bulgasal or something, this will be a great introductory course into finding him.
The magic of Lee Joon.
Just sharing the love of Lee Joon to everyone else.
Lee Joon, I'll do a little background on our sweet boy. So he was born on February 7th, 1988. Nice little late 80s baby, like two of us on this podcast. And his name is Lee Chang's son, but his stage name is Lee Joon, which does become a problem when you're trying to like search for articles about him, because you're gonna get a lot of Lee Joon-gi, who is great, very high profile, which sort of drowns out all of this.
Luckily, they look very, very different.
They look nothing alike,
Oh my
they will not
God.
be mistaken for each other.
No.
So as a teen, he was very into dance and won a dance competition, which then gave him a scholarship to attend the Seoul Arts High School to learn ballet, where he was scouted by Rain's company, you know, Rain.
The Rain.
The Rain.
The Rain.
The Rain, you know, if you don't know who Rain is, I don't know what to tell you.
We should maybe tell you about Rain someday. That's what we'll just say
Yeah,
about
we
Maybe that will
probably
be-
should.
We'll throw it on our like music deep dive list.
Yeah, like, if you haven't heard of Rain yet, you must be new, and that's fine, but he's a big deal, okay? Big deal. Other in education, he also attended the Korea National University, where he also studied ballet, which is
Wow.
very impressive. So he's an incredible dancer. He then was trained by Rain, the singer, and debuted as a group. Okay, he didn't debut, but he debuted in a musical group, the boy group M Black, which, unlike many debuts where they go on like a music show or whatever, no, that wasn't good enough. They debuted as the opening act for a Rain concert.
Of course.
Which is like a huge debut, because in 2009, when they debuted, Rain was like top of the world music-wise. Like, he was on Stephen Colbert that year. Okay,
Well, because he was also like huge. He had that movie that was
don't worry,
very
we'll get there,
popular,
we'll
right?
get there.
So he was everywhere.
We're not there.
Like,
We're not there yet. We'll get there. We'll get to the movie. If you've ever heard the song "Singing in Korean" by Stephen Colbert, that was with Rain. So big deal. So anyway, he then debuted in M Black, which was his group, where they had 3 single albums, 7 EPs, and a studio album before he was like, I'm done with this stage of my life.
I'm
And,
gonna peace out,
after
guys.
5
It's been
years,
good.
he was like, we're good. In 2014, he was like, we're moving on. This has been fun. I'm done. Before he even debuted as M Black, as I said, he debuted in a movie, and it was not a Korean movie. That's right. His debut was in Hollywood for the incredible film that we will talk about later, Ninja Assassin, where, in a bit of a nepotistic turn, he played the teenage version of Rain. You can see some, like, interconnections. I feel like Rain may have gotten him the gig.
Maybe. Perhaps that's
I-
the like
I
way
watched
in.
one of the interviews with Lee Joon, and that's what he said. He was like, he went to audition or whatever in front of Rain, and Rain just kept saying, "You remind me of me. You remind me of a
Yeah.
young me. You're
Come,
a young me.
You're going to be the young me."
You're going to be
I just need to point out what I love about the fact that he played Teenage Rain is him and Rain look nothing alike.
They don't.
Like they
No.
have no
A little
features
bit.
in common. Like it was like the least believable younger version of someone.
Korean individual and a Korean individual.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. They look nothing alike, but it was fine. Though he did play an extra in a drama in 2008. I don't think we're gonna count that. He was an extra, uncredited background actor. But it's important to note he was up to the the thing. He then after 2009 started picking up Korean roles where he would speak in Korean and not English, which led to his two first main roles. One as a method actor who was spiraling out of control in the movie Rough Play, also known as An Actor is an Actor. Wild movie.
That is a wild first thing to take. Like that is
That was like his
crazy
first
movie.
lead role. And he actually won an award for Best Actor at the Wildflower Film Festival, and then had a bunch of nominations for Best Actor for that movie. And then his next big role was as a serial killer in Gapdong.
Yeah.
We love it. Is it a good drama? We'll discuss.
Yeah,
But-
later.
He's good in it. He then got like a lot of notice for his role as a teen father in The Incredible. Heard it through the Grapevine in 2015, where he won the Excellence in Acting Award at the Korean Drama Awards and the Excellence Award for an actor in a drama serial in the Apan Star Awards, which is like a big award thing. And then, he did his first Weekender in 2017 and then enlisted in 2017 immediately afterwards, where he did public service work because he does have bipolar and panic attacks. So that's cool that he's very open and honest about it. And then he was discharged in December 2019, where he started his own radio show and started starring in Netflix shows. And he had a couple years romance with Jung So Min, which apparently ended very amicably. And he's also beloved by several women that we love on this podcast. Lee Da-hee, in an interview, went on about how she loves him. And he is her ideal type. And Bae Doona loves him and called into his radio show to basically tell his radio show how much she loves him. So he's beloved by women, which means I think we can all say thumbs up. Thumbs up if you're beloved
Usually
by
a
cool
good
As far as
sign.
we know.
If you have Bae Doona's stamp of approval,
Yeah,
as
you're
far as
probably-
we know, that's a good sign.
Well, also, like,
Significantly not
Jung
he.
So Min is like adorable and sweet
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
perfect. And if she's like,
Well-
yeah, I want to have like they were together for
like 3 years.
Almost
or
3
something.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Like through the
So-
enlistment.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't break up with him when he went off. Right? She didn't do that
No.
thing.
Yeah. I feel like it was one of those, like, we're both really busy and
Well, one of his interviews, he said something about how he's too, like, he doesn't think he can't approach women. He doesn't, he can't ask people out. So
Yeah.
that insinuates that she's the one who approached him, asked him out, which, it suggests that he's a pretty approachable, decent, he seems like a nice guy. Like,
yeah,
he
he
does.
still lives with his mom. I was reading an interview where he was very open about that, where he said, like, yeah, I live with my mom because I'll probably stay here till I get married because I get lonely. So
And also, he doesn't think he's that great at like house
And-
chore stuff.
and laundry and things. He's like, I'm pretty sure I would just like put my laundry in the tub with me and make it do. So you're like, oh, okay, you're useless.
Oh, baby.
But you're self-aware.
Yeah.
We like a self-aware.
knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least he knows. That's basically the background for old Lee Joon.
When I was looking at watching YouTube videos and looking up stuff about him, the fact that he takes, part of the reason he takes these like thriller roles and stuff is because he doesn't think he's handsome enough to be a romantic lead. And I was like, son, what? Like, no.
Which makes I'm sure Rain watches something like that. Is like, are you? Because you're supposed to be the young me. What are you saying about me, dude?
Because they look so much alike.
Right, but still,
they're both very, yes.
They are both very handsome men in very
handsome,
different ways.
Yeah,
very different ways. So, shall we talk about some of his fantastic roles, starting with his first debut role as the young Rain in Ninja Assassin, which I know at least 3 of us watched because we watched it together. What a wild time we had.
Oh my gosh.
It's not a good movie.
Yes, okay. It's a beautiful movie, and it's as well acted as you could expect from the script.
And it has like a crazy team behind it.
It should have been better. It should have been
so bad.
The script, it felt like a dubbed movie to me. It was not a dubbed movie. Very clearly an American English movie, but the script made it feel like a very badly translated dubbed. So
also, Jesse had a very important note to tell about this ninja film.
So as I was watching the movie, I realized that I don't think this was their pitch. I think that this movie is what like was the thing that like sold people, or they were like, hey, we'll take your original script and make it ninjas. Because if you watch that movie, it is very clearly supposed to be vampires. Very clearly. Everything about it just screams vampires.
When I was watching it, I was like, oh, so this is like Blade. Like, even at one point they acquire vampire powers, but like never like
there's like a ninja. We're not gonna go over the entire story, but there's like it's like deals with like ninjas, and he grows up in this clan, and the clan is very like family oriented, and they're like good like should be dead because police are like exploding them, and they're just like somehow are like walking around kind of good. So it's everything about it is very like comic book like, which I get because the writer is I don't remember his name, but he's he's works with the Wachowskis and did Sense8 and has worked on Marvel stuff for many years. So you get you get that feeling of the graphic novel-esque thing, but everything's so supernatural about these ninjas that it just look, if you ever like watch it or have watched it, just think if it was a vampire instead of a ninja, and you would
make so much more sense.
It makes sense to me, and
maybe have some alcohol on board too.
Yeah, maybe. I felt drunk while watching it. Does that count? I wasn't drinking.
He did a really good job.
Yeah, and he is in it like a fair bit. Like it's not just some like flashback scene. There's like kind of like a fairly big like him learning how to be a ninja and things happening to him in this thing, and they kind of like do some flashbacks. But I will say, like, as a warning to anybody who's watching it, it's extremely gory.
It's very like unrealistically gory.
It's unrealistic, but I mean like within like the first, I would say like 5 minutes of the movie, people's heads are coming off and you see them. So I just want to warn that.
Brightest red blood. Yes.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid everywhere.
Yeah.
They needed to like have a lot of it, and I know firsthand fake blood is really expensive.
Yeah.
and then you have that quantity, and you're like, okay, I get it. You're just trying to go for the cheapest you can.
Yeah. Like if it's like Kill Bill levels of violence, like blood spray and
and it's not just that you see. I mean, you usually see it happening too. So like you see the missing head, you see the missing arm. So it's not just here's a prop. That's where it used to be. Also,
I will have to say I will give props to Rain because he was really selling martial arts that definitely a stunt person was doing.
Yes.
It was like he was selling it, you know? Like
he was selling that chain knife really well.
The chain knife was pretty sick, and I gotta be honest, I don't know. There was a lot of like dudes with swords coming against a dude with a very long chain knife, and I'm like, guys, you're not gonna win this. Yeah. Come on. It was fun. It was fun. It was dumb.
Yeah, it's not good, but we had fun, and I guess that's all that matters, really.
I know that I have heard more than one person that movie is what drew them into K-pop and K-dramas, right? Because they saw Rain and thought, I need to find out who that is.
Okay, that's legit. Kudos, that's legit. I mean, there's also a lot of shirtlessness.
There was one scene where they literally take the time out in the middle of like a dramatic fight with like Rain versus like his like ninja brother. And it's like, keeps just cutting back to like a slow pan up Rain's naked chest. And I'm just like, okay, guys, we get it.
We get it.
We get it. He's hot.
It's enough slices.
That's enough slices. Oh. The next movie doesn't actually appear on this list,
but Ninja Assassin, isn't it kind of hard to find? Or is it not?
It is in Canada, but I don't know.
I don't know. It it might be like one of those that is like really easy to find like a used DVD somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know?
It definitely feels like that. Yeah.
Or you can just go to like your local used DVD place and find it for like $3.
It sounds like the kind of movie that you probably would have found at the corner store when they were doing rentals, right?
So it is on Hoopla.
Yeah. Okay. And you can also rent it for $3 on Apple, Amazon, Google, YouTube.
I recommend going to Hoopla for free.
Yeah.
For this
So just Hoopla's a library-based rental. So you have to have a library card to use it. But
it's really nice and easy to use. I borrowed something a couple weekends ago and it was like, okay, and now it's on my phone and now I can watch it. And then when it's done, it just goes away. Like it doesn't, you don't pay fees because it's, late at the library or whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this more.
I just scrolled down. So I'm on Just Watch. We're still not sponsored by Just Watch. We just find them very useful. And people who like Ninja Assassin also liked Blade.
Shocker.
Well. The next movie he did was, we're not going to talk about it, but he did the Korean dub for Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes. So
I saw Romeo and Juliet in theaters, man. That was an important time.
It's a cute movie, but I feel like we don't really need to talk about it because he was just.
There's nothing to talk about there. It's funny.
The next movie was his wild method acting movie, Rough Play, also known as An Actor is an Actor. My boy put his whole ass into that movie.
I watched Rough Play like a couple years back. It looked fascinating, which it was.
Yeah. It's insane. Like, it's an insane movie. It basically follows this very passionate actor who then rises to the top and very quickly falls down to the bottom and goes insane. And it's like all Lee Joon. He's like, it's him. The whole movie is him. And
I didn't get to watch it, but it kind of sounds very interesting.
It is a little confusing in my opinion narratively because the way it layers the timeline is a little confusing with some flashbacks periodically. And it is definitely Korean movie level of nudity and sex and things like that. So it is not, it's not an easy ride for folks that are not looking for stuff like that. And there's a lot of violence. Like there's not the Ninja Assassin level of blood or anything.
Believable violence.
More punching but it definitely tries to show the very, very dark side of actors and actresses having sponsors and then their intimate relations with each other. And so it's trying to show the darkness of all that and how pretty much the bad, kind of like the quote unquote bad managers kind of victimize these people who are maybe really talented and some of them aren't. So it kind of goes through that a little bit, but it's all through, you kind of see it just, through his career kind of, but then you kind of see even the side characters that he works with and how it's really rough on them and stuff. I'm just going to say trigger warning for like rapey things. I mean, it has stuff in it. So
it is
not an easy flick.
Yeah. Not an adult film as in porn. It is a film for adults. I was watching a little interview that was with him and the director, and the woman interviewing them was like, oh, like, Lee Joon fans must be excited about this. And the director was like, Lee Joon fans over the age of 19. Over the age of 19. This movie is rated 19 plus.
Well, I think that's also like something interesting about him in general is that he didn't like try to keep up kind of the idol pathway and like what he was choosing. He definitely went straight into roles that probably any other person who's an idol kind of transitioning into acting full time would steer clear. They would like kind of go more for like family friendly stuff, and he never did that.
Which I think is pretty obvious in the next film he did, which Jesse and I watched together last night, The Piper, which is a very fucked up rendition of the fairy tale The Pied Piper. Oh boy. Okay.
It's like hard to like describe and not spoil a bunch of it, because it's one of those movies where things are like happy and then there's like the dark turn, and when it turns it turns like it's pretty like just like a light switch. It just suddenly happens.
Even when things are happy, they're like off-putting at the
very
same
like
time.
surreal
so you're like,
and weird.
This
and
isn't right. Like, this is sus.
Especially Lee-Joon's character. He is definitely the weirdo in the like entire time. You're like, he's going to kill everyone, or like at least he looks like it. There's something wrong with him.
So the basic plot is it's right after the Korean War, and there's a guy who is a professional flute player, essentially, like pipe flute player, who lost his wife in the war, and his son has tuberculosis, and he has like a limp, and they're trying to walk across Korea to get to Seoul so that he can get his son to a doctor. And they happen into this very weird town that is currently plagued by rats. And so he's like, hey, I can get rid of the rats for you. And the chief of the village is like, all right, if you do, I'll pay you money. Now, if you're familiar with the fairy tale, you probably know where this goes, but it goes in a wild turn. Lee Joon plays the weirdo son of the village chief, who has been so far in charge of attempting to get rid of the rats, who have been evading his attempts to poison and murder them. And it goes wrong. Yeah,
it goes wrong. It just...
It goes so wrong.
Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's incredible.
Great time.
It was an incredible movie. Also, like,
how much screen time did Lee Joon get?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't a main character, but he was definitely, like, how there's, like, main, secondary, and tertiary. He was a secondary.
Yeah, especially because where he was in, like, so his dad was, like, kind of one of the main characters. My cat's doing something crazy. Main characters. And because he was the son, he was kind of always there. But the movie does follow mostly about the Piper and his son, and it does a lot with just like everybody in town, because it's a fairly small town that you're like interacting with.
We're talking like 20 people in this little village. Like,
and they're all in like huts and stuff, and so it's just
they don't know, and they don't know that the war has ended. So they still think the war is going on.
Yeah, they're kind of like removed, because it's literally just in the middle of the woods. He's just like kind of walking through
village. Oh, it is an unsettling movie.
But horror fans will dig it.
Horror fans would love it.
Absolutely.
Like if you like movies like Midsummer, you would love this movie.
Yeah.
So it's not like horror in the sense like like monsters and things, but it's just sort of like, oh, this is real fucked up. Do not like this. This is the horror of human beings. Let's just say that. He then also did a voice in the cartoon Seoul Station, which was
the prequel to Train to Busan. Well, it's a prequel, but it's not really. It's sort of. If you watch it, you'll be like, yeah, this is not what a prequel is.
They're like same universe.
Yeah.
Situation. Yeah.
And when he did that one, I saw an interview where he was saying that after doing that, he was like, I'd really like to play a zombie. I could do it too, because I'm a dancer and I can like bend around and do all those things, those weird positions. I could do that. So I want to play a zombie.
Like, listen,
if our
Korean
powers can do anything, like, can we
let him in?
Yeah,
I mean,
he is very popular with the Netflix now. So I mean, Kingdom season 3 coming someday. Maybe,
you know, he now has the in with like the Netflix teams. And then the last movie he did is a action comedy called Luck Key. Where he did play one of it has 2 main characters, and he was one of the 2 main characters of it's on Viki. You can watch it. It's really easy to
love
find.
This movie.
I laughed my ass off.
It was so funny. Like
I tried.
It was so wild, and I just really enjoyed it. It cracked me up the whole time.
The movie basically follows a professional assassin and a basically failed actor loser, played by Joon, where when the assassin falls in a sauna and hits his head and gets amnesia, he and Joon's character, Joon steals his identity, essentially not knowing anything about him except that he was wearing rich people clothes. So he just wanted to like steal his money, essentially. And then very soon gets embroiled in
stuff.
Hitman's life, essentially. Whereas the hitman's just living as clearly this is like a man in his like 50s plus who now thinks he's a 32-year-old.
Well, no, there's a great part when he looks at it, he's like
32-year-old.
This is what it says. That's the age it says, but look at me. Look at me.
And like
I love that they stick with that. Like they do. They play that through the whole movie. He keeps going. People look at him and like, well, I guess some people have a hard life. Like,
and then he like befriends this like 32-year-old paramedic who's like, well, if you look like this now, you'll be really dependable and sturdy looking in your old age.
And she's like, I guess we're like friends. Like,
we're friends, I guess. If you like action comedy, you will.
Yeah,
like
it's definitely an action comedy.
Yeah,
it's not gory. There is some violence, but it's not, over the top or anything. And it's exactly what you would expect from the genre of it's delivering exactly what it promised to deliver. He was fun in it, playing an idiot.
There was an interview about it, and of course, you know how they always ask the general question of like, how similar are you to this character? He's like, I'm not similar to this character. Like, he goes, I haven't even ever met anyone like this person.
Because he's like an idiot. But like an idiot in the sort of way that he like lucks into the right idea or like lucks into something that's close to the right conclusion, but never quite the right conclusion. Yeah. Yay. So those are all the movies he's done. I'm sure he'll do more in the future, but he has done mostly drama series, starting in 2010 in Jungle Fish 2, which I was unable to locate to watch.
I haven't found it.
He's one of those where it's like a lot of this stuff is not available and easy to find locations except for the really big stuff. But even the really big stuff will give you a sense of what he does. He was then in History of a Salaryman, but only as a cameo.
Was that the one? I can't remember now. There's something on Viki, but I don't remember. It was something that I didn't watch.
History of a Silly Man. It is on Viki for the US at least. Oh,
Yeah.
Viki Pass Plus.
I think I looked at it, but because he just had a cameo, I didn't bother.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
I wasn't gonna sit there skimming.
Yeah, if there was
looking
like if
to find
it
him,
was a
you know?
cameo, I was like,
Yeah.
In 2012, he was in Sent from Heaven as Lee Joon. Also could not find that one. In 2012, he had another cameo in Phantom. But in 2013, we start getting into things that you can actually locate that he has a sizable role in. He was in Iris 2, so a rare second season of a show. I did not get around to watching Iris 2 because it was not easy to find, and I hadn't seen Iris 1, like the original Iris.
Yeah, I've only seen like the
I don't have
first episodes, first 2 episodes of Iris, because it used to be on
like
Netflix.
Yeah,
Way
it's like a
back when.
spy,
Yeah,
anti-terrorist military thing.
I think I dropped it after 3 or 4. Like, it was one of my earliest K-dramas, and I was like right into Big Bang, so tops and that, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check this out. But about
it up.
episode 2 or 3, I was just like, nah, I can't.
Ain't for me. Ain't my scene.
This is not for me. So
then in 2014. Gabdong. The Memories of Murder. Jesse and I actually have an entire episode that we had done for another project we were working on about Gabdong and the actual crime that it's based on. And he plays a psychotic serial killer in it, and that's not even a spoiler. They reveal it pretty early.
Even pretty like first episode, you're like, okay, this is it. This is him.
This is him. And let me tell you, okay, Gabdong, it's fine. It's a fine show. Okay, it's fine. It's not anything incredible. It's not like the best serial killer show you'll ever watch, but he's really good in it.
Oh, he's fantastic in it. It's one of his actual best roles.
Yeah,
like I think
he's really, really good in it.
Yeah, he's like it's almost at a point where he's a little bit too good for the show.
Yeah,
like the show is got it's not like a straightforward crime drama. It's got more of a mahjong quality to it.
Oh,
because it's a little bit older too, so it has that kind of mellow mahjong.
Yeah, sort of over the top
stuff.
And 20 episodes. Wow.
Yeah, so things and like things are a little bit but he's incredible in it. He really just embodies that role, and he's like creepy and scary, and just the way that he is able to kind of do all the things that he does in it, it's actually pretty great to watch.
I think something important to note about him and all of his, like, of course his range is huge, but even in his characters that either are psychotic or insane, like these characters that are unhinged, they're all very different. He plays them all very, very differently. It's not like he has one scenery chewing setting and that's what he does for like everything. Like he's very different each time, and I think that's very important to note, because it's not like, oh yeah, he then just reaches into his bag and does this role that he's already done 3 times. No, like it's always very, very different.
I mean, they're very different characters, but like in Lucky and then in Father is Strange, in both of those he plays an actor who's maybe not that good at acting, but they're completely different characters. Like I didn't watch Lucky and think, oh yes, this is like just Father is Strange if his life took a dark turn or whatever. It's like, no, like it's a completely different character, clearly.
Yeah, and so just as like a side note, we will be putting that episode up on our channel, on our Certified Newness channel. It's a different format than all the other things, but if you want to learn more about the drama or feelings and more about the actual real serial killer case that it's based on, we'll have that as like a special bonus episode.
His next show is available on Viki. It was called Mr. Baek or Mr. Baek. I did not have time.
I watched the first couple episodes and then the last couple episodes because I was kind of like, I don't really. It's very typical. Like it's a sort of family / business, intrigue kind of thing. But it's it's amusing. Like conceptually, it's kind of interesting, but it's one of those ones where, okay, it's kind of got Miss Granny vibes. He's a terrible, not Lee Joon's character, but his dad in it is a terrible, terrible human being who gets transformed to being younger. This is all in the first like half hour of the show. He gets transformed into being younger and gets a second chance at life with this beautiful young woman. And you're like, okay, but he's a terrible human being, and he lived as a terrible human being for 70 years.
Sucks,
you know, so like, it's nice, but like, do I really believe that 70 years of terrible human being got changed in 13 weeks of being young again and the love of a good woman? Like, come on. But Lee Joon's entrance into the show is phenomenal. He's this like, you know, chaebol son who hookers and gambling and like, you know, and his dad hates him and he hates his dad, and literally his dad's birthday is coming up and he's coming home and he parachutes into the estate.
I love it.
With a banner attached to his back, you know, like one of those plane banners that and it says, "Dad, just die for your birthday." And then his dad's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "You saw it. For your birthday, I would like you to die. That would be great." And,
oh my God.
And then basically, you know, when he becomes young, he comes and sort of says, "I'm your half brother that you didn't know anything about," and fixes their relationship. So a lot of it is that relationship as well. But the main thing is the romance, and I couldn't get past that because I was like, she's way too nice to deserve getting stuck with this piece of trash for her life. But Lee Joon was very adorable in it. So
he's adorable in everything.
And he doesn't age.
No,
he does not age.
He stays one age.
Because Ninja Assassin, so like how old was he then?
I don't know. It was 10 years ago.
Oh, he was 20?
Yeah.
He still looks
20. Yeah, he looks exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Indistinguishable. It could have been filmed last week.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Even enlistment, anything, it did not touch his face.
Did not touch anything. He looks
only thing's different is that he's buzz cut. Like he doesn't
changes
his hair.
Changes his hair. That's the only thing that changes. Like when you look at like videos of like him when he was still with M Black, it's just he has like an emo haircut. That's the only difference.
Well, emo haircut plus like guy liner, which by the way, he really pulls off guy liner.
He really does.
He really does pull off that
does.
scene look real well.
Yeah.
And even with M Black, like I watched a bunch of their videos for this, you know, their videos were all very movie, like they had a movie to them, and he was always like the main character of the movie within the music video. So like you could always see even then that this was the goal. This is what he wanted to be doing.
What I also love about like just any M Black video is you're like, yes, this was under Rain's company. Like when you're watching it, you're like,
I see some inspiration there.
Yeah. Rain had his little fingers all over this. You can tell. He had a cameo role in the really fun show Pinocchio.
Haven't seen it yet.
Nothing to say about it because it was just like a cameo role, but like Pinocchio's a good show, and he was good in it.
And I'm pretty sure it's on Vicky still, or
probably Cocoa or somewhere. It was a
It
very
has to
big
be.
show. It was a very big show
with like top name people. Like
big show. And then in 2015, the absolutely phenomenal Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Fantastic.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
I still need to finish it, but like I love it.
Holy shit, what a show.
Oh, I didn't even feel it's 30 episodes long and I didn't feel it at all.
Like
I started it, but I went about through the first episode and then I was just like, I couldn't, not right now. Like it was just not for me right now.
Where it's like you're really, you're not in the right headspace, but it is kind of dark, but
it's a dark comedy and it actually is. I don't think any Korean drama, if you don't include like horror movies, I don't think any drama has ever set out to do a Black comedy and actually done a Black comedy.
Successfully done it. This one did.
Heard It Through the Grapevine does. And it's phenomenal. Like,
it's wild. And he's phenomenal. And actually, everyone in that.
Everyone.
The girl, the girlfriend. I love that actress too.
Oh gosh.
Go
Sung. She's phenomenal.
She's in Tracer right now. If anybody's watching that.
So Lee Joon and Go Sung play teenage parents. I don't even know what to say about it. It is so good.
So they play teenage parents, but the big thing is that he comes from money. His family is very wealthy, also old money as well. So it's through generations. And so he gets his girlfriend pregnant and they kind of have to deal with that. And it's like, it follows the way the family handles this, and also the family with the girl, because she comes from a very poor family. So it's like her introduction into this and how they're kind of dealing with it. And it's done so realistically that I don't understand how they do it. You think it's going to be a makjang and it's not. And it has some like mellow parts, but like not a lot. And then there's just some like weird, absurd stuff because of the comedy to it. But it shows that lifestyle in the most realistic way you'll ever see it in a K-drama.
It's incredible. It's so good.
So crazy. Even some of the side characters, like you have the girl that he kind of grew up with, who's kind of, I guess technically she would be like the second female lead, like trio thing. It's my favorite girl from Moram School and W and all that. The girl who plays the female lead sister is, what's her face? Who is
she's in Bulgasal right now.
She's in Bulgasal, but she was also in Are You Human Too?
Yes.
And a bunch of them. Yeah. There's like a great found family and like an actual found family with all like the help who have been with the family for years and years and years. And it's also written by or directed by the same person who did Something in the Rain. So most of Something in the Rain cast is in there. So you see like the woman who plays the rich father's like secretary is a mother from Something in the Rain. Just like a bunch of characters are from that. And it's phenomenal. It's
the cast is wild. The acting, incredible. The writing, amazing. The filming, beautiful. Like everything about it, chef's kiss.
And it clicks along. Like as far as
it doesn't drag.
As far as how quick the baby happens super
real
super
quick.
Yeah.
So it's not like oh, how many episodes of we're gonna have a kid, like kid is had the kid exists.
The kid is having the kid.
Oh, and the other thing that's perfect about it, they both play the age that they're supposed to be in this. They're very naive, but in a very believable way, especially in like his role is very sheltered because of his upbringing, because he's a rich kid who's like only had the same people in his life always, and obviously his family's so rich that he was basically raised by the maids and stuff, that kind of sheltered, and he does it well. Like he's like goofy and charming and like sweet because he's like this 18-year-old who just slept with his girlfriend once and got pregnant.
It is totally crazy to think of him in that role versus him being a serial killer or anything else like that is range. Like seriously.
And he pulls it off so well. He obviously doesn't. He looks exactly the same as he does today. But
he's an ageless man.
The way that he does it, his like mannerisms and stuff, it's very sweet. And it's like the way that he like interacts with the baby is very much like a young father who's just like kind of very smitten about everything, but still like a young person. And it's just I love it so much.
I mean, just right off the bat, I love that he's immediately, like as soon as he knows, he's like, okay, and now I do the right thing, right? Like I'm mad that I wasn't there for you, and I'm going for the, like, and it's just, and he's just like, no, this is obviously what I have to do, and I like that. It's just a nice character. Like
that was actually the show that was the first thing I ever saw with him in it. And that was what made me fall in love with Lee Joon, was this show. So
it's a good one to make you fall in love with him.
Yeah, and basically, like, I love Lee Joon. Like, it's a little bit of a meme between the four of us, how much I love Lee Joon. Like, every time I see him appear in, like, a variety show or something that I wasn't expecting him in, I literally gasp and go, Lee Joon! Like, even my husband's like, oh, is your little boyfriend on there? Like, is Lee Joon? Like, I'm like, Lee Joon! And it's because of this. Because of this.
And it's on Cocoa and Vicky and stuff. It's easy to find.
The year after that, he went on a very different tack, very different role from any of his other previous roles, with the OCN drama Vampire Detective. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I need to.
I still haven't finished that one, but it is fun.
I watched 2 episodes. I tried to watch more, but my computer was saying, no, you can't.
Your computer's saying, no. I watched it the year it came out because at that point I was in love. And he's fantastic in it, but he's a completely different character than anything he has played before. Very stoic, snarky, you know, like handsome. Just
well, he's always that.
Well, you can't change that part.
That's the one thing that's not.
Well, okay, I will be honest. In the Piper, you weren't so much feeling his good looks, you know, because he was a little too unsettling. But in this, he plays a dude who's a detective who gets turned into a vampire. And continues being a detective.
As one does.
As one does. Of course.
I would say if you are a fan of, like, obviously I've only watched the 2 episodes, but if you're a fan of like procedurals, like crime procedurals, like specifically like Bones or Castle, I think you'd really like this because it's got a lot of like lightness and fun in it. And it's got a really good cast. His partner in the firm is the brother from It's Okay to Not Be Okay. And the girl she was just in Red Sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
She's the main female lead in Red Sleeve. It's got some good stuff. It's fun. I'll probably continue to watch it if I can.
If your computer lets you.
Yeah. It is a beautifully filmed drama. From like a cinematography.
It's kind of got that like British murder film.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But I don't think the like show is like that. Like I feel like it's a very
cinematography wise, chef's kiss. It's
which is interesting for a vampire show. Like they did a good job with that stuff. They really did.
Yeah. Next, what he likes to do is his next role is the complete nothing like the previous role he did. So in the same year, he also did Woman with a Suitcase, which is like a legal romantic drama where he plays like a young lawyer who he's not the main character. He's like the secondary character, but the main character is a like paralegal who basically has to like reboot her career after everything goes wrong. But she's like the best paralegal in the world who wants to be a lawyer, but has like exam phobia, so can't pass the bar. And anyway, he's like a young lawyer that she goes to work with, and he's just sweet and cute and a cute little lawyer and very handsome and so sweet. It's a cute show. If you like legal romance stuff, legal romance, like that's an actual genre. If you like,
I guess it is.
It kind of is. I mean, in Korea,
that's true. In Korean dramas, legal
to be honest, in North America too, like there's, we've had our fair share.
Main actress is Choi Ji-woo, she's just, and then it has an a woman in her mid to late 30s with a man in his mid to late 30s romance, which kind of rare in the drama world. So Joo Mo is the co-star, and when I say like it's a nice adult romance, I don't mean it's spicy. I just mean it's two adults, two actual adults of a similar age. Yeah, so it's two same-aged adults falling in love in their mid to late 30s. Even though apparently she's in her 40s, but she looks like she's like maybe 31. Like, come on.
I'd like to mention a drama special that he did in 2015. It is available on YouTube, KBS World, the channel. It's on there with subs and everything. So the name of it is "What Is the Ghost Doing?"
Yep. It's a fun one, sort of.
It is a drama special.
It is a drama special. Journey.
Yeah, there are parts of it that are really good. There are parts of it. There are parts of it that are very cringe-inducing, and it makes you just
special life.
It makes you very happy. Like, good on him for being able to pull off that type of thing and be the actor that he is today. Like, good job, buddy.
It's got this really kind of interesting vibe to it, because it kind of like seems like it was maybe supposed to be like a pitch for a series, and it never got a series, so they're like,
it feels like the precursor
like a pilot episode.
Yeah.
Like a pilot episode type
thing. Because I mean it ends with a very "and here we go again" kind of a moment. You're like, were they trying to make this into a show? Like, it okay.
His character is very yelly.
He is very yelly.
Every aspect, be it scared, upset, anything, he is yelly.
It's like, kind of hard in the beginning. I will say that's like,
it is a tough go.
Let's just say that you can't bat 100.
That's true.
Your entire career.
But there are parts of it that are very charming and touching.
I'm sure he was as instructed to do it, so he was probably doing what he was told.
I think that's the thing. When you've seen so much range out of him and him hit the notes so perfectly, you know this has to be how he was directed to do it. Right? This is not just him coming out of nowhere unable to act suddenly. Like, he just this is what he was told to do, and he did what he was told.
What we didn't know is that secretly it was the plot of a drama, and he hit his head and forgot how to act in the duration of those scenes alone, but then came back to his senses.
But the touching parts, like, so of course the boy can cry, like, you know, we've seen him cry, and he still sold those tears. Like, he did it very well during the 10-15 minutes that the drama was serious and really good. Hey,
it's only like an hour. It's like not a lot of your time.
It is it's a light investment.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
He didn't have to keep this going for 16 episodes.
That would be rough. A ding in your career, right? Yeah. Like, that would be a problem. But when it's just a drama special, what I'm sure of is he would never want to rewatch that. Like, there is no way he would want to rewatch it.
Listen, we all have things we're not proud
I can imagine his best friends tying him down and then pressing play, and they'd be like, no,
cringe fest. Yeah. Or sort of, it's like the sort of thing that would become like a running inside gag with your friend group. Like, remember that incredible drama special you did? Remember that fantastic work you've done?
But like, I watched it when we did our drama special episode, and I think that's one of the things we kind of talked about, was that drama specials, because they're so short, it's an opportunity to try something different, right? Yeah. So, I mean, he took a shot at it, and maybe after that is when he decided, rom-com's not for me, because it's not really a rom-com, but
well, he didn't fully decide that rom-coms weren't for him.
That's
because in 2017, his last project before he enlisted was the 50-episode weekender Father is Strange, which I
That's
watched
a lot.
while it was airing.
Me
From
too.
my boy. It's actually really cute. It's a really sweet little
really good-
weekender. Like
It is. It was my
and-
first weekender, and it's kind of a hard one if that's your first one, because it's actually really pretty good and
Yeah.
and enjoyable, and doesn't have some of the things that trip people up in weekenders sometimes. So
It's not as
then finding another one like it becomes difficult.
It's not as over the top as many other weekenders can be. He plays a idol turned actor who's bad at acting. So it's like halfway him, but not quite.
But then he really had to act in order
That's
to be
right.
that
To act as a bad actor, you have to be a good actor to
True.
believably act as a bad actor. And he then, gets a little romance with an intern, but things go a little sideways. But I don't want to say why, because that would be a spoiler. And if you want to watch Father is Strange, it's a pretty big spoiler, so I'm not going to tell you what happens.
So is he one of like the main characters?
oh,
Does he
yeah.
show up in every
Main
episode?
character, yeah.
Pretty much.
Like,
yeah.
so in Weekenders, usually there's like lots of main characters, because since it's 50 episodes, there's lots of time to like have a lot of stories. So it basically follows this family who has four children, because it's a brother and 3 sisters.
Yes, right.
He's like becomes ingratiated with this family through shenanigans. So
one
it's
of
like
the sisters winds up working with him. It's like that's part of it.
But he's like one of the top guys on the thing, and it's really quite a fun little show. And by little, I mean
I think it's one of the ones that people like the most out of
like
like
one of the
weekenders.
weekenders that people mention all the time.
Yeah.
So why is the father strange?
That would be a spoiler.
That would
It's
be
a spoiler.
big
Wow.
That's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one
The
of those
father
that you-
might have a secret.
Okay.
There is, there's
Might be a big secret that the father
Which
has.
totally makes me like imagine in fanfic a completely father might have a secret. Like I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like listen, if you can with a weekender, you have to like think with your soap opera.
Yeah, you have to think with your soap opera brain.
Helmet on,
brain.
right? So you're like, okay, there's gonna be birth secrets. There's gonna be something dramatic.
Yeah.
You're always gonna focus on like an actual family unit, that sort of thing.
There's something janky. Like someone's been hiding a secret from.
There's always
Someone gets mad.
Yeah,
This one is not like as soap opera-y. Like I love Weekenders, but some of them get a little wild.
I'd say like it almost has a bit more of a like an American like sitcom vibe, like not that
Not a sitcom.
full, like not that full humor, but like it's a little bit more of that family,
Like a family
like
drama.
a family kind of thing. It's a little more amusing and a little less. Sometimes they get heavy or over the top. It's a little less that.
It's not super mock jangy. Like it's not super. It's not like he hit his head and has amnesia. Like that's not a thing on this.
No.
drama. Like it's not.
It's.
There's
There's a lot more romance to it than a lot of them will have, and multiple couples and stuff like that. But it's just a watch. I did laugh when I saw him interviewed about it, and he said that he really liked the kissing scenes, and we're like, in retrospect, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But also that what he liked about the kissing scenes was that there were no lines, and he didn't have to memorize any lines. You just had to go kiss.
Yeah. The honesty of this man in interviews.
One thing that he said in an interview, so it wasn't Father is Strange specific, but just kind of about himself. So the thing that a lot of his co-stars and people say about him is like that he's naive. He's like, I'm not naive. I know everything. But I'm kind of immature. Like I go play with the top. I go play with I go do things that are kind of kid-like. And my peers, they ask me why I do those. He's like, because I just like to. If they did it too, they would like it too. So I just have fun.
Like I just want to have some fun with my life. And that was the last thing he did before he enlisted. And then he came back. And when he came back, he did 3 things. 1, he started a radio show Lee Jun's Young Street, and then he made 2 Netflix shows. So listen, if you're a Korean actor, if you get into that Netflix production, like
just take it.
You're set.
Just take it. Yeah.
So he did The Silent Sea, which we did a whole episode on. So I don't think we need to mention too much about it.
He did well in it.
He was incredible in it. And then he's also playing the main antagonist, which isn't even a spoiler because you find out pretty early that's his vibe, in Bulgasal.
Well,
Souls.
Here's what I will say. He does not show up until episode 4.
Yes, we got a little wink.
So do not be looking for him until episode 4.
Yeah, but you know pretty, like, immediately what he's about in his introduction.
When he pops up,
who he
that's what he's up.
Yeah, there's not like a mystery to his character. Like once you see him, you're like,
I get it.
Gotcha.
That's what you're up to. I see. But what's really neat about his character is his character even has a lot of range.
Mm-hmm. He's all over the place, like emotionally.
And tying back to how he really liked the kissing scenes where he didn't have to memorize lines. He ad-libs most of his lines in Bulgasal.
Yeah.
What else?
And none of the other actors do it.
And
so they just let him go.
Yeah.
He's just listen, he is living his best murdery life right now. Like, if you look at his, entire thing, like, when you look at his face, you would think, oh, this is a man that does rom-coms.
Sweet baby child. No.
Nope.
Like, sure, when you see him on variety shows, he seems sweet and cute. Like, you would want him to be in a rom-com, but that ain't his bag, lady. No, honey, no. He is here to murder and be creepy and unsettle you to your core.
And in Bulgasal, you start going, am I rooting for him? Am I rooting for him now?
Yeah.
Because I might be rooting for him now.
You know, like those memes that every time like a villain is like really hot, and you're like, it's funny how they never did anything wrong, really.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, Bulgasal was really boring until he showed up.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh, here we are.
Who is carrying that show?
He's on his back.
He is.
He is carrying it.
I'm sorry. There's just so much you can deal with like the emo boy who keeps on thinking about things that happened 3 minutes before and replays it in his head over and over for the first 3 episodes. That I could take.
Like, I get it. You have a sad backstory. Let's get this movie.
Well, I feel like even narratively, as the show progresses, it's still like, how many cycles can we go through having this exact same discussion again?
I haven't gotten that far in it, but like, he's definitely the only reason I would like keep on going at this point.
He's the thing that makes it interesting. But about his character, like, one setting he'll be like super dressed up with like really floofy hair and like a dandy looking
very dandy.
And he'll like be yelly. But then in another scene he'll be like way dressed down and like way more subdued. So like him being unsettling, he's unsettling in like 5 different ways. And I love it because
you never know which personality he's coming out with in that show.
And how many villain type characters within K-dramas really have that much range, because usually they kind of have, he's the dandy type villain, and then we kind of know what they're up to, and then maybe they have 2 separate settings or something, and then you kind of get some of his backstory, which is interesting, so you start pulling in this stuff. It's like, he's the most fascinating part of it.
What I sort of love about the show is that the show shouldn't be about the main dude. The show is like, the interesting character is Lee Jun, and it's like, I would rather watch this guy be evil than like, I'm not rooting for the good guy. That's not good. Like, I'm just like, maybe humans have had their time. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm really feeling like picking up what this guy's putting down. Like,
it's like he makes some solid points with what he's saying.
Like, listen, like,
let's hear him out.
Same situation, like, I feel like anyone would make the same choice that he did. I don't know.
And then when the human characters make dumb choices, it's like, yeah, I mean, they have kind of had their time. Like, let's go for the monsters.
Listen,
it's all good.
This guy, he makes a compelling argument. I don't know. I feel like he might know what he's talking about. He does have a show coming out this year called Red Single Heart. Don't know much about it yet. In fact, I know nothing about it.
The
Historical, right?
I think so.
Mhm.
And listen, he hasn't done that yet.
No.
I guess, yeah.
Like,
So
listen, he's trying to pick up all the genres.
Now, what I will
love
say about him, since he's played so many villain type roles,
it.
I'm not saying that he can't do non-villain type roles, of course, but like when he hits those villain notes so well, and then it's like, oh, he got casted in something. It's like it makes you go, is he the villain? Because if he's not, he is fun.
But like it might be, we don't know. Like, listen, I do love him.
it's a historical about throne ascensions, so
Everyone's
there's a good chance.
Listen,
I mean,
in these Sego style things, everyone's a little bit of a villain.
That's true.
Okay,
or
like
they're dead. Like those are your only options. You're either a villain or you die. Like,
But it is one of those things, like you start watching it, and it's like halfway through, he hasn't done anything villainy yet, but like maybe you hold out that hope that he pulls out and stops.
I do have to laugh that the description in my drama list starts with a fictional historical drama because they want to be sure
everyone has learned their lesson from
those
shows and
historical.
Exorcists, okay?
Those are
like they have
really
learned their
getting hit.
lesson.
I mean, it was really funny with that. What was it? Lovers of the Red Sky. And it was like every episode it would start with like, these are all make-believe characters. I'm like, they have glowing red eyeballs. And there's
apparently
yes,
it wasn't enough that they were zombies. So we gotta be real clear. Like,
oh, one thing about Bulgasal, he does have cool glowing eyeballs.
guys.
That's important to know.
And just like his style on point. Just when he's in dandy mode.
Well, so not a spoiler, there are some suspenders involved early on.
Imagine if that was a spoiler. Spoiler alert, he wears suspenders.
Hey, I don't want people coming after me.
Listen, I don't know what people find spoilery, but
I don't know either, because sometimes
sudden
people are like, excuse me, and you're like, what? Like,
and his house is really cool. You know those
of
supernatural people, they always have cool houses.
Yeah.
well, listen, he's been alive for hundreds
time.
of years. They have tons of time to murder people and take their money.
Yeah, and like read and get into interior design.
Yeah.
Just like you can't be like
Very
killing people all the time.
Well,
There's
you
some
gotta have
downtime.
hobbies. Like, listen, killing people is his job.
Yeah,
Interior
he's got
design
it's
is
his hobby.
happening.
Anyway, that's Lee Joon. He also appears on several variety shows.
He's on a lot of variety.
Yeah.
So
Lee Joon, yes.
Natalia first was Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Heard Through the Grapevine was the first time I encountered
So,
Lee Joon.
What was
Immediate
everybody
love.
else's? Do you know? Do you remember?
Father is Strange
Okay.
was definitely my first.
What was yours, Jesse?
Mine, okay, so technically, if we're going to be really specific, M Black was doing stuff when Double S501 was doing stuff. Also, as this little side trivia thing, Dara from 21, her brother's in M Black. So I knew about M Black through that. But if I'm going to be specific on when I was like, that's a person, like I didn't know he was Joon, but I like zoned in on a person, was definitely Bubble Pop. Hyuna's Bubble Pop. He's in that music video.
Yes, he plays the dude.
The dude.
In Bubble Pop.
So that was like the
music
first
video.
like introduction to Joon.
I think for me it was K-pop side, just because I think I ran into M Black a little bit. Not like when they're active or anything. Well, after that.
Yeah.
I do know that there was an episode of Running Man where him and another member of M Black teamed up with Lee Kwang Soo.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have been
I feel like he's been in a couple of Running Man episodes.
Yeah.
And a couple of Men on a Mission.
Knowing Brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
And other stuff too. Like I watched a clip today of something. I don't know what the show was because it was just cut in the middle. But it was like him and Lee Gi Kwang having like a dance off, and they get progressively harder in these moves. And then he's waiting and he watches Lee Gi Kwang, and Lee Gi Kwang just kind of like bends his knees and throws his arms out forward, and he goes, no, don't do it, Gi Kwang. And he's like terrified, and he's like, and then they just watch and he does a backflip, just a standing backflip. And he's just like, dang it, I lose. Like, he's even gonna try it, and they're all like, no, because your company will come and murder us when you get brain injury. So just stop now. Like,
I think I just knew of him like being around, and then probably the first thing I watched of him, it might have been Lucky, because I watched that like a year or two ago just for fun. And then I watched a little bit of Vampire Detective. I didn't finish it, but like. But I kind of just knew of his existence. I kind of just saw clips of him on the radio, like talking to other people. Side note, he doesn't host that radio show anymore.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't anymore.
But it's kind of funny because it's interesting that I didn't really see him in anything like drama side for quite a while. It's just I knew that he was this cute, charming little person. He looks short and little to me, but he's not. Like, he's tall.
He's a regular size man.
I think just regulars because he kind of looked like, I thought, Sweet Baby Child, and it's like, oh, he's not Sweet Baby Child, he's Murder Child. Got it.
So but like in his real life, he's a Sweet Baby Child, and I think I put this video on the playlist we have on YouTube, where the lead singer of Highlight is doing a reality show. And in this reality show, the lead singer of Highlight, who had, at the time the show was being filmed, had just finished filming Let's Eat, the first season. But he doesn't he's known for not liking to eat alone. So as part of this, they're making him eat a bunch of food at a table by himself in a very crowded restaurant. And then all of a sudden this person in a hoodie shows up and is like, hey man, and then it's just Lee Joon, who was there to pick up some takeout, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, you hate eating alone. He's like, I'm filming a reality show, and all of a sudden Lee Joon's looking around at the cameras. He's like, oh shit, what's happening? He's just this, and he looks like just full hobo gear, just his big glasses, hoodie, celebrity out incognito mode. And it's just so cute. Anyway, it's a cute little clip. We have a lot of such cute little clips on the playlist.
And he's really fun on Men on a Mission, especially with Jung Kwa.
He has a lot
since they've been best friends for a long time, they have lots of dirt on each other and stuff.
Yeah,
it's really
they have a lot of fun interactions with each other on their various, radio shows. They'll call each other and torment each other as part of their radio show, which is we're talking about the lead singer of CN Blue, by the way, if you're
I was watching one of those
AKA
today where he called him when he was on his radio show, and he called him at home, and it was and he just couldn't stop laughing because he's trying to be professional. He's like, hi, this is Lee Joon of Young Street, and Young Wa's like, okay, what are you doing? And he's just trying to be professional, but also cracking up. And
he's like, we have a speed quiz. You have to answer 3 questions in 1 minute. And he's like, what are we doing here? And he's like, I said we have a speed quiz. You have to answer 3 questions in 1 minute.
He also is like, why are we talking formally to each other? Do we have to talk formally to each other?
And he's like, yes, we do. This is my job. God.
That's one of the things that I think is great, especially because since he was an idol at in that time where there was there's a lot of stuff now, but there's a lot of goofy reality shows that were big and popular at those times, and you can find so many clips of them, just really old clips. There, he was also in a lot of the what is it, the Star Bell show. There's a bunch of that, and it's a lot of fun to kind of go back and to have watched a lot of that kind of older clips of him in M Black era.
And he even appeared in an episode of Return of Superman.
Yeah, he did a little clip
where he holds a little baby and looks really cute and lost. Just very lost as he's left with this infant, and is like, Patting, like, just patting the back of the child. Like, I guess
he's talking about his nephew being older or something, but he's like, this baby is a baby. Like, I don't know what this kid is. Like, I thought that was really funny when he like passed off and he's like, oh, like, like
I don't know how to hold
what I
it.
was expecting it to do
like,
somehow.
Everyone will love you holding this baby.
You know what?
Honestly, you know,
they were correct. They were correct. See, I don't even like children, but every time I'm watching
that show really
Return of Superman.
Oh my
the
gosh,
show,
the You Don't Look episodes are so fucking
I can't.
I
can't with Return of Superman. I don't like children. I don't want children, but I see what this show is doing.
Yeah,
this show is designed to raise the birth rates.
And you know what? It's working. Like,
it's definitely working.
I mean, I don't know about the data, but like,
I don't have the numbers, but I'm like, telling you.
But it's been going on long enough that it must be doing something.
It's doing something.
Like, we're just gonna give you hot men holding babies and like see what happens. We see your game, Return of Superman.
It'll be interesting to see what he does in the future.
Yeah,
because like he's already done so much great work to where it's like I can't even imagine what type of roles and stuff he's
we'll definitely know it's going to be Netflix stuff because Netflix is now gonna grab a hold of him.
Like, so listen, Netflix, listen, for all that, you know, Netflix gets up to, in the Korean realm, as soon as they realize they've got a good actor on their hands, they do not let go.
Yeah, they really love.
They're like, you're in this shit now.
Which, as long as they, you know, treat their crews and stuff appropriately, that's
and
good.
maybe stop treating your trans employees badly, Netflix US.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
But I was meaning even Korean side, like, you know, letting people have rest and things.
Because it's not just Netflix.
It's true.
True that.
Although, I mean, one of the things with Netflix, not all of them, but a lot of times the stuff that's just Netflix is designed to just drop all at once, as opposed to, you know, weekly episodes.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that makes a difference too, because a lot of the time what we hear about with the bad stuff that's happening on Korean sets, it's often because they're pushing to make that week's deadline. And so if you're not pushing, if you don't have that same deadline every week, maybe some of this stuff is an easier, maybe not for everybody, but you know, maybe for the actors it's nicer. It's like, oh, like I can just go and do this and film it for a month or whatever, and then take the money and go away.
Like, go home.
Like,
well, anyway, that was Lee Joon.
He's a fun guy.
He has an incredible body of work. Like, there's something to love about every show he's done. And he's done so many different types of shows and movies that even if, like, oh, you're not into horror, well, that's fine. Here's a comedy. Oh, I'm not into comedy. Well, that's fine. Here's a romantic weekender. Oh, I don't like romance. That's cool. Here's a supernatural procedural. Like, he's got it all. So there's something for everyone, and we hope that if you haven't already, you will go check him out because I love him so much. I just want everyone else to experience the joy that Lee Joon brings me in their own life.
He's a great example of, like, and I know we said idol, like actor, but like he is an actor idol on some you know level. In case you're unaware, because it is possible some people are unaware. Some people, there are people out there that have a bias against actors that either started as an idol or are idols as their actors and things like that. There's a lot of bias against that.
It's unfounded.
So it's always good to call back to, like, you know, when you have an awesome actor like Lee Joon to be like, hey, you know that he was an idol too, right?
He's a great litmus test for people who have that bias, because a lot of them who are in it, have been in it for a while, do know that he's from M Black, and so they will. I've seen people talk about what a bad actor he is, and I'm like, no, you're wrong.
Are you sure about
like,
that?
People will say, because he's an idol actor, he's from M Block, so he must be a bad actor. And you're like, no. I see your bias now.
I dare you to watch his stuff and tell me he's a bad actor. I fucking dare you. I dare you to go watch Rough Play, which was one of his first projects, and tell me he's a bad actor. I fucking dare you. You can't do it.
The crazy thing about that one is how he was a baby actor. Like, just how I don't know how he did that. Like, I really don't see.
He's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
And it's just, y'all should check him out. And he doesn't have a huge, like, he has a variety of things, but it's not such a large filmography that it seems like you can never tackle it all. You can. It's... Listen,
especially as far as
he's not that old. He's only
especially the internationally available options.
Yes,
there are only so many.
And I mean, and like you said too, not everything is going to be for everybody. Not everything that was available to me was something that I wanted to watch, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's enough. There is more than enough to go enjoy something.
I will say, so we've kind of completed the deep dive trifecta with Bae Doona, Gong Yoo, and Lee Joon for the silent scene. But I will say, Lee Joon, he has more available internationally than the other two.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's very true.
true.
Which you wouldn't have guessed, right?
No.
He's definitely the lesser known actor out of the trio.
Those three. Yeah.
But the most accessible, huh? Interesting.
I wonder if that has to do with the K-pop connection in some, like that idol thing that, so a lot of the streaming sites like Viki and stuff are more likely to pick up some of his stuff. I don't know. Like, it's odd.
I feel like because Bae Doona and Gong Yoo, they have, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
It's probably just the eras that they were more active in, like for the dramas and
maybe.
stuff.
That's true.
Like,
that's true. Yeah.
He's
the timing
than them, so
just a little, just a little.
Mm-hmm. Well, because even with his stuff, like when we're talking about the things like 2012 and earlier, it's like hard to find that stuff too. So, yeah.
Now going forward, we hope that we'll be able to touch all their stuff that they make.
Because all of it's going to be on Netflix.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
I'm sure they're trying.
They're
especially with like Bae Doona, they're probably not messing around. They're like, yes.
They're like, we like this one. We like give us more. Give us more. So write to your local Netflix to tell them you want more Legion. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, thank you for listening to this week's episode of The Certified Nunas, where we talked about my sweet boy Lee Joon. You can listen to us wherever podcasts can be found, but if you want links to everything that we talk about, you have to go to certifiednunas.com, where every single episode has a blog post that has links and time codes and everything that we talk about. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednunas to become a member of the Certified Found Family. It's our found family on the web. We love them. They're great. We have movie nights. We do have little extras there. And also you get special permissions and special posting options on our Discord. That's right. We have a Discord server and it's super fun. And we have a lot of fun discussions over there. The link to that can be found in the blog post. As I said, you can listen to us wherever podcasts can be found. You can find us on social media. It's always @CertifiedNunas. We're most active on Twitter and Instagram. And we hope that you have a fantastic week where you stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment, especially Asian entertainment that has Lee Joon in it. Anyway, have a good week. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.